Hi everyone, welcome back. We are ready to talk about transportation today. Transportation is one of the most common IELTS topics. Let's prepare to talk transport. First, let's start with some helpful vocabulary to talk about transportation. Bottleneck. I love this word because it's very visual and maybe not as common, but very useful that if there's a lot of traffic and then maybe there's a problem, like maybe there's an accident and the place where people can go is very narrow, it's like it moves into a bottle shape. So only a few cars or motorbikes can get through at a time. Bumper to bumper, again, another way to talk about traffic, that it was just one car, two cars, motorbikes back to back, almost touching bumpers. Standstill. Same thing in traffic. When you can't move, the traffic has stopped completely, you're not moving anywhere. So let's get more into how we use these in a sentence, because just knowing the meaning is not enough. You need to know how to use it naturally in English. I'm going to head on over to the whiteboard to show you some examples. Now we have bottleneck. If there is an accident and lanes of traffic are blocked off, this can really cause a bottleneck in traffic, especially during rush hour. Our next phrase is bumper to bumper. Okay. For over 30 minutes, I was stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic and missed the beginning of the movie at the cinema. All right, our next example is for the word stand still. And I do love this word, right? It means you come to a complete stop, no movement whatsoever. By 6 p.m., the traffic had come to a complete standstill, and I had to message my friends to say I was going to be 20 minutes late. We're going to have a look at example part 1 question. So a very common transportation question might be something like, what is your favorite way to travel? Or, how do you usually travel to work or school? Now we know already that commute, this is a special word that means, we use it to describe travel to work or school. So right away I want to paraphrase. I'm not going to repeat the question in my answer. What's your favorite way to travel? My favorite way to travel is, no, we won't do that if we can avoid it. They say, I usually commute by motorbike, or I often go by taxi, or I usually go by car. That's my usual way of commuting, something like that. I might say, well, I prefer to commute by motorbike, but if it's raining and traffic is coming to a complete standstill, I might actually have to walk. It could be faster than trying to ride in traffic. Now let's have a look at part 2 of the IELTS speaking test, also known as the long turn. We try our best to make it to 2 minutes. That would be ideal. You don't need to worry about going over time. The examiner will stop you and let you know when your 2 minutes is up. One example topic might be, describe a journey you disliked. Just like with part 1, we want to paraphrase the beginning if we can. So a lot of students will get nervous and say, I will describe a journey I disliked. You're just repeating basically the topic back to the examiner. It doesn't show off any of your skills in paraphrasing. So you can change it even just a little bit right away. Say, oh, today I'm going to tell you about a horrible trip I took with my friends, okay? That shows you understand the topic, but you're using different vocabulary to talk about it. Now, part 2, I think it's helpful to think of it like you're telling a story. So we want a little introduction, maybe a brief background, and I often use who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, you don't need all of these, but these will often prompt some ideas for you. You can be descriptive, you can share your feelings about the experience. Any parts of the journey would be relevant. You might finish off with a solution to the problem you're having. You know, what happened in the end? How did you feel? Is there anything you would change in the future? Now, what I'm about to tell you, nobody likes to hear this, but the best way to prepare for part 2 is to record yourself. Try to make it to 2 minutes and make sure you can finish your story, at least most of it, within that 2 minutes. Common problems I see all the time is either students take so long giving some background information, they never get to the actual journey and their time is up. Another problem is that students finish talking in 30 seconds, and this isn't long enough to show off your English. So the only way to prepare for this is to actually do it. Practice recording yourself, see if you can make it to 2 minutes, and then go back and listen to yourself. Nobody likes doing this. I definitely don't like doing it, but it's the best way to practice. You might listen for your vocabulary. Did you notice you repeated the same word many times? If so, this is an opportunity for you to look up or remember some key vocabulary, some synonyms, so that you are able to express your ideas in different ways without relying on the same words over and over again. All right, let's have a look now at part 3 for IELTS speaking. You might get a question that feels a bit scary, something like, how can governments reduce traffic congestion? Now, some students might panic when they hear this. All this means is, what can governments do to decrease traffic jams and traffic problems generally? So a good structure to follow might be something like state your opinion, give a reason why, and some examples. So you could answer this question, say, firstly, I think a good idea for governments would be to invest in public transport. Now, the reason for this is traffic jams are caused by too many vehicles on the road. So for example, if governments really encouraged people to start taking the bus or the train, even provided some incentives or rewards for them to do so, then that means be less people driving cars and motorbikes and therefore reducing traffic in the streets. Another example might be, what are the pros and cons of cheap airfares? Now, right away with something like this, especially, we know we can paraphrase. So instead of pros and cons, you could talk about the advantages and disadvantages, for instance. So the advantages of cheap airfares, of course, pretty obvious that it's going to be more affordable, that you can pay less money to fly somewhere. But a big disadvantage might be that these fares are very inflexible. So if something happens and you cannot make this flight, you might lose your ticket altogether. So today, I hope you'll remember after this to add to your vocabulary, practice your paraphrasing, record yourself. Remember to structure your answers and review your recordings after you make them. You know, what words do you repeat many times? Find some synonyms or other ways to paraphrase so you don't have to rely on the same vocabulary over and over. You can even use free version of apps like otter.ai. That's what I use. This will transcribe what you say. If you don't have access to a teacher, you know, you could even paste your transcript into an AI app to ask for feedback, you know, suggestions on how to extend your answer or even check your grammar. But whatever you do, don't stop practicing. Remember, practice makes progress. If you enjoy the vocabulary learned in this video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook so you'll never miss an episode in this series.